Good morning from Disney's Grand Floridian Resort. I'm here to try out 1900 Park Fare breakfast. This is a character dining meal. We have dined here for dinner before and we really enjoyed it, but today I'm here for breakfast and I'm starving. So 1900 Park Fare is a character dining buffet style restaurant. So they do serve breakfast and dinner. They have characters that have to do with like a wish type thing. So you've got Aladdin, Mirabel, Princess Tiana, and Cinderella. As I mentioned, I have dined here for dinner before and we really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. So if you want to check out that video, that is linked in the description box below. But I have not done breakfast yet. I have heard good things about it. So I'm curious to see what kinds of food offerings they have. The experience I feel like is going to be pretty similar, but after we eat, I'll kind of sit and chat with you guys and let you know what I think. This restaurant is located on the first floor of the Grand Floridian. So when you walk into the lobby, you're going to go kind of all the way to the end, like you're walking into the resort. You're going to turn left. You'll go past like the little sundry store, and then you'll kind of come into this little foyer area. So you've got Grand Floridian Cafe is right here, and then 1900 Park Fare is right next to it. So very, very easy to get to. I drove myself this morning to get here, and I was very pleased that they did let me park in like the normal parking, like the normal guest parking area. This resort is kind of known for like busier times of year. You may end up having to park in a parking lot, like a extra parking lot that they have across the street. So just be aware that if you are coming for like a busier time, or you're trying to like come and do breakfast and then go to the parks, they do give you like a 3-hour parking voucher if they have you park across the street. So just as a heads up, today was not the case. Today they let me park in normal parking, which I was glad about. So it was a little less of a walk, and they didn't give me a parking voucher. But I would just say, like, know that if you have a dining reservation at the Grand Floridian, most times they will do that parking voucher. So just be aware of that if you're driving yourself. Now, if you're using Disney transportation, no big deal, super easy. You're just going to take the monorail or the boat or the buses to Magic Kingdom, and then you will hop on those to the Grand Floridian. Now, they do also offer valet parking. So if you are driving yourself and you don't want to do the park across the street thing, you can do valet parking. You do have to pay for that. So again, be aware of that, but that is an option too. As I mentioned, 1900 Park Fare does serve breakfast and dinner. So for breakfast, that is typically going to run till pretty much almost noon. Our dining reservation was 10:45, and then we kind of left kind of towards the end as they were getting ready to finish up. Pricing is going to be $58 per adult and $37 for children's ages 3 to 9. Obviously, if you're under the age of 3, you do get to eat for free, since usually you're just kind of picking off mom and dad's plate anyway. This is a character dining meal, so you're going to have Mirabel, Aladdin, Princess Tiana, and Cinderella. The whole kind of vibe of the restaurant is like making wishes. So you have characters that kind of have a little bit having to do with wishes. So yes, it is kind of a weird mix of characters. I'm not going to lie. When I first heard the characters they were going to have at this restaurant, I was a little confused. But now that I've been a few times, it does make sense, and it is very cute, and I do enjoy this one quite a bit. So let's talk a little bit about the food that they had. So food was actually pretty good overall. I would say there's a lot of options. There's a lot of variety. It is buffet style, so you've got a little bit of something for everyone. Sweet, savory, you name it, they got it. Some of my personal favorites were definitely the fresh carved ham. That was delicious. And I loved the bread pudding. The bread pudding was my favorite. That was so yummy. It was gooey, sweet, warm, delicious. I absolutely loved that. When you first walk in, you're actually going to see like the kids buffet. They have kind of 2 areas on either end for like kids. So they're a little bit lower to the ground, which is kind of fun. So they can kind of serve themselves and get their own food. They had gummy bears, which I think is adorable. They have a like whole tray of like little gummy bears. And I know for dinner, they used to have like a gummy dispenser. I don't know if they still do that, but for breakfast, they didn't. They just had them in like cute little cups. Then they also had some breakfast pizza and tater tots on one side, and then on the other side they had their Mickey waffles and pancakes, and then they had this big, like, it almost looks like a coffee pot thing, but it was a syrup dispenser. So my guess is that you could get like warm syrup, and then they had these little cups that you could pour the syrup in. I thought that was super fun. And then kind of out in the middle is where you're going to have all of your like bread and pastries. So they had toast, they had a toaster. So if you wanted to like actually make some toast, you could. They had bagels, they had croissants, they had little danishes and these chocolate muffin things that were really good. And then of course they have the famous strawberry soup. I won't lie though that like the strawberry soup is not my personal favorite. There's just something about, I think, the texture, and it's just like a little tangier than I want it to be. I want it to be just a little bit like sweeter, but a lot of people do love it, and it is still pretty good and definitely worth trying. And then once you get to the main part of the buffet, that's where you're gonna have like all of your normal stuff. So you've got things like fresh fruit and yogurt, so you can make like a little parfait situation. They had some smoked salmon, so I actually took like some of the really yummy like wheat grain toast and did the smoked salmon with the like chive cream cheese. So good. That was actually probably one of my other favorite things. And then they had a few different types of hash browns. They had like a cheesy hash brown casserole, and then they had this other one that almost had like, it seemed like it had like some peppers or something in it, and then you put like a steak sauce. That was surprisingly very good. I enjoyed that quite a bit. It's a little bit different flavor than I would normally expect from a breakfast. Then you have the fresh carved ham. So you've got kind of the station, you'll have the cast member that has like the big chunk of ham, and he'll cut you off a piece. So good. For dinner, they do, I think, like a prime rib or roast beef or something kind of similar. And then on the other side, that's where you're gonna have things like your eggs. They did have eggs with cheese and eggs without. They had 2 different kinds of sausages. They had a normal like pork sausage, and then they actually had a chicken sausage, which was kind of cool. You've got bacon, and then they had this like, it looked like a tofu scramble. So if you are plant-based, they did have a little bit of that for some protein. They did have biscuits and gravy and oatmeal. The oatmeal was kind of fun because you could put, they had like some like caramelized apple cinnamon nonsense that you could put in. It looked really good. I didn't have any of that, but it did look pretty tasty. And then my favorite was the bread pudding and the cinnamon pull-apart bread. Both were super good. They were ooey gooey, sweet, kind of cinnamony, kind of caramely. I really did enjoy those quite a bit. So overall, for a breakfast buffet, I was pretty pleased with the options. I would say, was it like the most amazing breakfast I've ever had? No, but I did appreciate that there was a wide variety of options. So there is a little bit of something for everybody, whether you're a picky eater or a more adventurous eater. They did have some good options for breakfast. Now for character interactions, this is honestly one of my personal favorite character meals as far as like a face character meal, because you have like the princesses. So what is kind of cool about these is that you can actually have like a conversation with these characters. With some of the other character meals like Mickey and Friends, those ones obviously they don't talk, so those ones you're just kind of more like hi and take a picture and stuff, which is still super fun. But I do enjoy having those character meals with the face characters because you do get to kind of have those little more magical interactions. We had a really good Aladdin. He was so fun. He was telling us all about, because we wanted to know where Jasmine was, because we never get to see Jasmine with him when we come to 1900 Park Fair. And so he was telling us all about how Jasmine was on a mission to show Raja to people so that they wouldn't be afraid of him. And if you don't know who Raja is, it's her pet tiger. We had a ton of fun with him. We had a great time just chatting, and I do enjoy these ones a lot. I did also appreciate the character attendants were really great about coming around and asking and making sure that we were able to see all of our characters. So they do kind of do a little bit of a rotation around the restaurant. So if maybe you were up getting a plate of food when they came by your table, that's a-okay. Those character attendants do come around to make sure that you've seen anybody. So if they did miss your table, just let them know, and then they will make sure that you get to meet those characters. Another thing that they kind of do, because again, the whole idea of this restaurant is all about wishing. And so when you walk in, they actually give you a little postcard that not only is your autographs for the characters, you can also get autographs if you want, but I do love that you get the cute little postcard that has those autographs on it. But on the other side, you get to write a wish, because they do a wish ceremony during your meal. This is like always super cute, and it like brings me to tears every time. But basically you write your wish on your little card, and they'll have this whole announcer thing go up on the speaker, and you hold your card up in the air and they have you say this thing. It's like, I wish my wish. And it's so cute. It's so fun. And then the characters will kind of parade around the restaurant while this is happening. And so it's just kind of a fun little special moment that makes it very, I don't know, magical.
Glittering wishes. Magnificent! Next, in your best wishing voice. Nice and loud now. Repeat after me. I wish my wish.
I wish my wish.
As wish makers do.
As wish makers do.
And believe in myself.
And believe in myself.
To make it come true.
To make it come true. Now, one of my only complaints about this restaurant is that it is pretty loud. For whatever reason, I think it's just very echoey in there. And so a lot of like the conversations and things do get quite noisy. So I do tend to find that I can get a little bit overstimulated in that restaurant. It's very fun and it's beautiful and I love it, but it does get a little bit loud. And so I would say if you are someone where you have someone in your family who's very like noise sensitive, maybe bring your earplugs. I do think that will kind of help a little bit with some of that sensory overload. And I think also because of this, like Cinderella can be a little bit harder to hear, just because she has a very soft voice. And so I know like she's a character that I always have to like lean in really close and be like, what? Just because it does get a little bit loud in that restaurant. That's probably one of my only like downsides of eating there. But I do actually really enjoy the mix of characters that they have there. I personally wish, see what I did there, wish. I do kind of wish that they had Asha at this character meal, because I do feel like she would maybe make a little more sense than Mirabel. But I do know that Mirabel is such a popular character, so that's why they have her at this dining experience. Now, this is a sit-down character meal, so this is one that you're going to want to make reservations for. It is pretty popular, so I do recommend booking those dining reservations at that 60-day mark and kind of have an idea, like know when you want to book it for, so that you can do that. It will tend to sell out, especially for dinner, I notice. I do see a lot of breakfast reservations pop up for this, especially like later breakfast. So like I said, we did like a 10:45 and we definitely booked this like 2 days ago. So it's not impossible, but if you are coming during a busier time of year, I do recommend making sure you book those dining reservations well ahead of time so that you can make sure that you can get in. They do also offer the dining plan, which is great, and they do have annual pass discounts. So if you are someone who has an annual pass, do make sure that you let your server know so that you can get your discount, because that definitely does help, because this isn't a cheap meal for sure. But I do think that you do get a lot of bang for your buck, which is nice. And that was 1900 Park Fare. Overall, I did really enjoy breakfast. It was very fun. I think I personally enjoyed doing dinner at this restaurant a little bit more, just because I think the food options were a little bit better. Breakfast was delicious. There was some great stuff there, but I do think that dinner is better. This is still one of my favorite character meals, just because you do get kind of a fun mix of characters, especially because you get to see Tiana in her new costume. As of right now, it is the only place in Walt Disney World that you can see Tiana in her new costume that like matches like what's on Tiana's Bayou Adventure. So that is very, very cool. I do think that this character breakfast is a little expensive for what it is, but honestly, I do think that about most all character breakfasts. So I think if you're on the dining plan, then this could be a really good value for that. But also if you're someone who is a big fan of character meals, I do think this one is worth trying out, either for breakfast or for dinner, because both are honestly great. I do want to give a little shout out to Goofy Getaways for sponsoring this meal and sponsoring this video. It was very fun to kind of go to breakfast and just kind of hang out and chat with them. So that was a lot of fun. If you are wanting some help booking your next Disney trip, they can actually help book this reservation for you. So if you want more information about that, that's in the description description box below. Make sure you subscribe for more fun Disney content, more fun dining reviews, and that's all I have for you guys today. Now go create your ever after.